are moving on to the next one. This is one that I think it's going to be a feel-good one, despite who it's coming from. AC put this out. Rich put this out about the Coast Guard swimmer that saved like 100 lives during the floods in Texas. So I think this will definitely be a feel-good one. We are going to be talking about a hero. This is about a legit hero, and I've not heard of this story. I do not know about this story. No spoilers, chat. No fucking spoilers. All I know is that he saved a lot of people. So Coast Guards are the go. Okay, the Coast Guard do not get enough credit for being the absolute badasses that they are. So I definitely want to see this story. And Rich, take it away.
The death toll here in Texas stands at just short of 90 people killed.
Efforts are now shifting towards search and recovery. We know more than 100 people have been reported dead, and dozens of others are still missing, including a group of 10 young girls.
A handsome Coast Guard rescue swimmer is credited with saving over 160 lives.
160? Holy fuck, I thought it was 100. It's 160. Okay, this man he's in the military. If I don't hear that he's awarded one of the highest recognition, I don't know what the highest recognized medal within the Coast Guard is. I can't remember if the Coast Guard is eligible for the Medal of Honor or not, because they are a military branch. Fool. Okay. The 160 is insane. This man is a fucking hero right now. And Farraful, thank you for the follow-up also.
Texas floods out there in the Texas highlands. Eat your heart out, Kevin Costner and Ashton Kutcher.
I'm here to exceed your expectations, Senior Chief.
Wow, I bet you practiced that all morning.
And now for those of you that don't know, the Texas Hill Country outside of San Antonio and Austin, Texas, had one heck of a flood over the 4th of July weekend. Water sweeping away cars, trees, entire houses. And along the path of this flash flood's destruction, thousands of people are stranded and hundreds need help evacuating the area.
Okay, you guys saying one Coasties won the Medal of Honor. After this, it better be fucking 2. If he saved 160 people, it better be fucking 2.
People are stranded and hundreds need help evacuating the area. They're stuck. They're screwed. They got nobody to turn to. That is, they had nobody to turn to. Until Scott Ruskin and his beautiful mustachioed face showed up and started saving the world. But before we get any further into that, first, a word from this video's sponsor, Fume. Flavored air is quickly becoming the leading alternative to vaping and smoking. And who's at the forefront? Fume. I mean, haven't you caught yourself reaching for a bad habit without even thinking of it? It could be out of stress or boredom, but this is where Fume steps in. It's not about quitting, it's about replacing. Fume offers a simple and enjoyable way to back away from those bad habits, while still having something satisfying to reach for. And there's no vapor, no nicotine, just flavor. Fume is an award-winning flavored air device that delivers great taste without any harmful chemicals.
You can still stay. It's like, just because I'm not in the UK doesn't mean you can't stay.
Satisfy your
Feel free to stick around.
Without the downside. And with so many different delicious flavors to choose from, you'll have no problem switching it up and finding something that you enjoy, or going back and forth from one of your favorites to another. I personally like spearmint because it's tingly. I like that feeling. Over 500,000 people have already made their switch to Fume as a part of their habit-changing journey. So if you're ready to try it for yourself, now's the time. Because for a limited time, if you order the Journey Pack and use code AngryCops, you'll get a free Fume topper. An awesome accessory to level up your experience. So click the link below at tryfume.com/angrycops or scan the QR code on the screen to get yours today. All right, let's learn a little bit more about Scott and where he comes from. What makes up the man who goes out during floods and rescues almost 200 people. Now, it takes a lot to be a rescue diver for the Coast Guard. You gotta be
Yes, it
physically
does.
fit, and Scott is one physically fit dude. Because while at Rider University in New Jersey during his college years, Scott was on the track and field team and he was a runner. You need that cardio. He did the 4x800 relay and the 3,000 meter steeplechase. I don't know what a steeplechase says. Please play steeplechase now.
Going again. Isaac up
Uh-huh.
Well, what was Scott doing while in college? Well, he was being an accountant for KPMG, one of the largest accounting groups, one of the top 4 in the United States. The guy was a finance bro. He's basically Gordon Gekko. Decided to turn
Interesting turnaround going from finance into becoming a coastie. Not the first time we've heard that though. We've heard there have been plenty of times. There have been plenty of times we've heard of like military servicemen that they start off in life as something completely different that you would not expect them to be before joining the military. So it's honestly not overly unusual. It's just given what he's going to be doing here, it does kind of surprise me.
a new leaf and save people. And in 2021, his senior year, he enlisted in the Coast Guard. But he's only been a rescue swimmer for the past year. Now, Scott's normally stationed in Corpus Christi, Texas, but when the alert came out for help, we need assistance across Texas, him and his crew flew there. And what normally takes about an hour took them 8. That's right, the weather was so bad they were circling around, flying and landing and flying again, just trying to find a spot to land so they could help people. And guess what? This wasn't like Scott's 3rd or 4th or 5th rescue. This was his first time.
Jesus.
Virgin cherry being broken when it comes to natural disasters that he responds to. And how did he do for his first time? Well, I think the kid's a natural. You see, Scott's team was designated with going over to Camp Mystic, a girls' Christian camp that was really having a bad time.
Oh, fuck. His first assignment was that camp? This is the one thing that I heard about most, was that it was what, 20? I think it was like, I think when it was 20 girls from this Christian camp that got swept away by the flood. That's the one thing I heard most in regards to in regards to this flood. And Alistair, don't say sorry. That's how I heard about it. I heard about this because of the shit that Destiny said on Twitter, which I roasted him for, by the way. Yeah, it was like 26 girls got swept away is what I heard. And it's the one thing I heard in regards to the flood, as far as like specifics of people who were directly impacted. Were these campers?
Time. The area had hundreds of people stranded from the floods and a large number of poor little girls missing. Some, unfortunately, already had been confirmed dead. That's probably why Camp Mystic sounds familiar. It's been all over the news for the unfortunate number of little girls going to summer camp and drowning in this horrible flood. But Scott wasn't going to let that number rise anymore. Although those waters are rising, the death toll will stay where it's at when Scott Ruskin's on the job. So what happens? Well, Scott links up with a whole bunch of National Guard and Task Force 1 for Texas, and his crew gets tasked out to Camp Mystic.
Efforts are now shifting towards search and recovery. We know more than 100 people have been reported dead, and dozens of others are still missing, including a group of 10 young girls who were at Camp Mystic, a camp that is located along the Guadalupe River.
They land, they drop off Scott, and Scott says, hey, you need more room picking up people and rescuing them. I'm gonna triage a group here at the camp. You go out and fly more missions and collect as many people off of rooftops that you can find. And the crew says, see you later, Tater, and takes off. Now, Scott immediately starts triaging kids. Hey, camp counselor, get over here with all those kids. Who's got scraped feet? Who's got broken bones? Who's cold? Let's get you together, warm me up. Everybody, body heat. Who's got the worst types of injuries?
And this is something that not a lot of people, I think, appreciate, is that Coastie swimmers don't just simply dive into the water, grab someone, throw the retention belt on them so they can be hoisted back up into the chopper. These guys are like full on fucking like advanced care paramedics. They not only will just rescue people, but they'll actually handle mass casualty scenes and do it skillfully. Like that's one thing that a lot of people don't realize, that the level of training that Coasties go through is insane. Like they're part of the military, but they, in some respects, they go through more rigorous training than a fair chunk of the standard military. Because they not only have to learn how to do rescues, they need learn how to do medical, they need to learn how to do chopper flight, they need to learn how to operate out a boat. They're basically a combo platter of essentially Army, Navy, and Marines without the combat.
Why is every crazy and awesome people are named Scott? Awesome Scott the Guns YouTuber and a Awesome Scott Badass Military Man.
I guess God just reached down when every Scott is born and says, "This child is destined for greatness. He shall be known as Scott."
All right, we've got 1, 2, and 3 level. Well, now Scott's got all these kids triaged and he's talking to counselors and giving them direction. He's trying to call up on the radio to his guys, but he's not getting anything back for 3 hours.
Oh,
3 hours,
fuck.
You're on a rescue mission and you were just sitting there with a group of a couple hundred kids just being like, holy shit, I hope they pick up the radio sometime soon. You've got to have your shit locked down. And Scott says a fantastic line.
I'm sorry this happened to you guys, but you guys were so brave and tough, and it made me like a better rescuer because you guys were acting so bravely.
How humble can you be?
Oh my
what an
God,
outstanding
this
guy.
man.
During his entire press conference, he's just like, hey, I'm just a dude. I'm part of a larger team. The Army's UH-60 Blackhawks were helping us out. Obviously, my team was there. There's Task Force 1. There's the National Guard. Everybody's helping me out to help these kids so I can move them to the next step of care. Zero selfishness, all selfless service. And the most beautiful thing that gives me freaking goosebumps is when CNN calls Scott a hero. Hey, Scott, you're a hero. And this is Scott's response.
I'm awful. Fuck. I already know what he's gonna say. I already know what he's gonna say. He's gonna say he's not a hero. He's gonna say the kids that kept it together and helped one another are the heroes. That's what that's the kids are the heroes, the counselors are the heroes for taking care of their kids. That's what he's gonna say. I guarantee it.
I'm just a dude. I chose to enlist in the Coast Guard. Anyone's able to do this job if you raise your right hand, do it. So I'm just happy I was given the opportunity to help these people out.
Oh, yes!
Okay, not quite what I thought.
Yes! More selfless service. It's not me. I'm just a guy. Anybody can get this training. It's the Coast Guard. It's the department.
And this is a staple with heroes. Okay, this is how you know when someone's a hero, is they don't think they're a hero. It seems like it should be blatantly obvious, but it's not. For whatever reason, it's not. People that are actual heroes don't consider themselves heroes. They just think, I am just a guy doing what needed to be done in that moment. I don't think I'm a hero. I'm just someone who just did what needed to be done. Right there and then, that's a hero. It's like the saying goes, a hero doesn't brag that they're a hero. A hero is embarrassed by the fact that they're a hero because they don't think of themselves that way. It's kind of like, I don't like equating this to something like Game of Thrones, but it's like the whole thing with Game of Thrones is if you need to profess yourself as being the king, you're not really the king. It's basically the same thing when it comes to these great heroes. If you need to profess yourself as being a hero, you're not actually a hero. Because the real heroes never think of themselves that way.
Of Defense, it's Homeland Security. It's the positive side of service in the Department of Defense, U.S. government, holistic sphere of whatever post. It is that service that got him to where he is, that allowed him to help others. My God, I want to blow this guy. And
But no homo, right, Rich? And honestly, understandable. Understandable. I don't think anyone would have any problem. I think no one would think any less of Rich if he gave Hero Scott a round. No, I don't think anyone would think less of him for it. Not at all. I wouldn't. And Stony Guy Gaming, thank you for the follow.
let me speak freely, as I often do. Where the is Ford or Chevy or Toyota? Get this guy a truck. Holy shit. You're telling me you couldn't PR pimp out of one truck for this guy? And you would just be like, everybody's, oh yeah, I got a free truck from Toyota. But you know the publicity you could get from that just by doing a nice thing to a guy who sacrificed himself for hundreds of children?
Counterpoint. I will offer a counterpoint. If one of the car companies tried to give him a free truck, I think he might. There's a possibility he might have refused. Because again, heroes don't think that they're heroes. Heroes are not asking for special recognition for what they do. I honestly think if they tried to offer him a truck, he'd say, no, give it to one of those family. I think he would legitimately say, if they try to offer him a truck, give it to one of those families that lost everything in the floods. They need it far more than I do. Well, no, Revenants, putting aside from the fact that if it did approach him and the Coast Guard said no, putting that aside, if the Coast Guard said, yeah, okay, and they actually did offer to him, I think he legitimately would say, give it to one of those families that has lost literally everything in the floods. They need it far more than I do. I guarantee you that is what he would do.
My God, I don't know how nobody's given this guy a free rub and tug yet. How has nobody else jumped on this? NFL, get this guy free tickets to a Broncos game. Nobody watches the Broncos anymore. The seats are basically free. And I'm not saying that Scott did this for handouts, not at all. That's not the case at all. I'm saying that's because of his selfless service that this guy deserves to be raised up above others and said, this is the guy we want our young troops to emulate, which, by the way, Coast Guard, DOD, everybody in every branch, if you don't slap this fucking guy's face on a recruiting poster, you're retarded and should.
Hang on. You guys should see this. Hang on. I'm going to move you guys. You should see this poster. Let me move you in here. I'm going to move over. Yup. Hell yes. They should be slapping him on every poster. Absolutely. This guy would be the perfect recruitment tool for the Coast Guard. There are some people in life, in service, that they're called the poster children for a reason. He is a poster child for the Coast Guard. His story. If you get a good producer, a good director, a good film crew that can basically tell his story, they basically can make a 2 to 3 minute little thing and tell his story about what he did during these floods and let him say, I did it because it's my job. It's what I signed up for and I was glad to do it. Recruitment would go through the roof if they could get his story out with the proper director, proper producer. Think about those old school. Think about those old school like military ads. how they would like gas people up to join the army or the Marines or something like that. You could do something like that with the Coast Guard. It could be done and could be glorious.
Should be fired. People need to see themselves in the job, themselves in service of their country to motivate them to serve. Although I love World War II vets, nobody can connect on a level with them anymore. Nobody's been to Tarawa. Nobody's fought at the Battle of the Bulge anymore. But all that hill land in Texas and everybody that's been watching this flood is gonna go, that. I want to grow up to be that.
Not only that, think about this. This is a way that you can join the military in a specifically not in a non-combat role, where you, as a military serviceman or servicewoman, are actually aiding the people of your own country. You're not going and fighting in you're not going and fighting in a foreign war. There's none of this issue where you have people like that hate the military with everything that's been happening over in the Middle East, all that stuff. It's not that. The Coast Guard literally operates in the U.S. They are the only military branch specifically in place to operate on U.S. soil. And they are the only military branch whose primary purpose is rescue. Yes, they are there for defense. There are some aspects of defense there. Absolutely. I'm not disputing that. But primarily the coast, like a big component of the Coast Guard is rescuing either, ships that have gone down. So that's why I said I am aware that there's defense. I'm aware. I'm not discounting that at all. But the Coast Guard is primarily functions as a rescue service. Primarily, not 100%. I'm aware that they can engage in combat. That's why they're called the Coast Guard. So I'm very aware that they are that some of the, especially with their ships, that they function as defense along the coastlines of the states. Very aware of that. But they're a huge quotient of that is rescue. That they go to rescue sailors from ships that have gone down. They will go and rescue people off of ships that are in need of desperate medical aid, or you have circumstances like this where they are rescuing people in times of natural disaster. That is primarily what you hear about with the Coast Guard. You don't really hear about the combat aspects of it. It is there. I'm very aware of this. I think the Coast Guard has actually gone on has facilitated like drug interdictions along the coast as well, but it's primarily rescue operations that the Coast Guard operates, and they operate on U.S. soil. They are not operating outside, going onto foreign. They are not operating on foreign nations. They're operating on U.S. soil, which I know for a lot of people is important. It is, I know for a lot of people, it's very important that they're operating on the U.S. and they're actually defending the U.S. instead of going to another nation. That's what I'm saying.
He's already been on Homeland Security's Instagram page with like an attaboy post and the White House. This guy deserves a soldier's medal. I don't know what a soldier's medal is for the Coast Guard. A sailor's medal, I guess. It's for heroism, but not at a time of war, right? Imagine like Silver Star-esque, but in peacetime. Come on, people. Let's get a move on it, huh? I'll start. Hey, Scott, I formally award you the highest honor I can, the POB. Good job. Good job.
Yes.
Good job. Now, if somebody can get me Scott's mailing address, I will gladly mail him and the rest of his crew in the helicopter some POBs and extra things, some lickies and chewies and doodads, just to say thank you.
Dwayne, I remember that. I saw that. The episode when, I forget who it was, and I forget which ship it was, but they actually needed to do an evac, and they actually had the Coast Guard come in and evac one of the crew from one of the Deadliest Catch ships. I forget who it was, but I do vaguely remember that episode of it.
POBs and extra things, some lickies and chewies and doodads, just to say thank you for being you. Because you deserve it. And if you think that somebody's done something great in your life, get them a POB right there. Bunker Branding, the link below, bunkerbranding.com. That's right. POBs. Are you special enough? Do you deserve it? Does your husband mow the lawn and take out the trash without you having to tell him? Is that the first time he's ever done it? POB. Get him a POB. Cheapest way to support the channel is leave a comment. Tell me what you think about this thick, dong, strong man. Sweep it up and save it all these children. And if you want to see uncensored content and more videos from not just me, but Cody, Donut Operator, his police videos are very gruesome sometimes. The Fat Electrician or Brandon Herrera, then go over to Pepperbox. Get like a 2-week free trial. If you hate it, fine. I started doing narrating animals, like a nature documentary. It's called Animal Sounds. No, Animal Noises.
What?
I'm not gonna lie, the first 2 are kind of but I'm getting better, and it's fun. So, we're doing cool over there, whatever. Jealous. See you next time, weirdos. Oh my gosh, what's the 9-line medevac? How am I forgetting the 9-line medevac training that I've had for so long? You've got ambulatory, you've got litter, oh, and then what's the other one? Oh, no, you gotta study. You know, if you don't use it, you lose it. God help me, I'm gonna eat it in the comments, and I deserve.
I think it's assisted. Ambulatory, litter, and I think assisted is the third one. I think? I could be mistaken about that, though.
I deserve it.
Yeah, I'll check the comments. Let's see. Oh, someone here says he was just awarded the Distinguished Flying Cross and meritoriously promoted to 2nd class. Bravo. Bravo. Let's see. Nobody's saying it. Let's see. Yeah, promoted to Distinguished Flying Cross, promoted to E5. That's incredible. Yeah, Coasties are getting tons of recognition. Hello, Black Wolf. How's it going? Nobody's saying it. Nobody's saying it. Which is fine. Everybody is just gushing about this Coast Guard about this Coastie, as they should. As they should. Just gushing about the Coastie because he so deserves it. Absolutely fucking deserves it. And I mean, Grumpy, he deserves that jump in pay grade too. 100%. He did 100%. He deserves that. So that was a great feel good. That was great. I had not heard about that, and I'm so glad we watched it. I am so glad.